Soma's ties to public security may lead to his undoing. By seizing the puppet himself, Yagami seeks to pull down the puppet master holding the strings. To do so, he forms a temporary alliance with the fugitive Koana. But Soma arrives to carve a bloody path into a hideaway no one should know about. Reiko Kusamoto's betrayal has proven more volatile than anyone could have guessed.
Genda-sensei, they're calling last night's bombing a terrorist attack. The body they recovered was burnt beyond recognition.
That was a Kaike-kun, right? The one Yagami mentioned?
Yes, I believe so. Nothing about Soma or RK in the article either. Could public security be tampering with the press?
I wouldn't give public security that much credit. Besides, if a bomb goes off in a deserted public place, it's only
Right, I guess when you put it that way.
Unfortunately, once any investigation would grind to a halt.
If the public learned...
Yeah. Anyway, where's Yagami? You heard from him since last night?
No, we've been in touch via email though. He's on his way to a hospital now.
Great. What'd he get himself into now?
If he's actually going to the hospital, does that mean it's serious?
Don't worry, he's fine. He's just going to meet with someone about the
Who'd
case.
want to meet up at a hospital?
Reiko Kusamoto.
"13 years. I still can't believe it. Waking up and finding out you're suddenly 30.
Take your time. You'll adjust eventually.
Work again?
I won't be long. I just need to take a quick meeting. Now put down that mirror already.
Oh.
So, you sold Koana out to public security because Mitsuru-kun woke up. Does that about sum it up? You waited 13 years for Mitsuru-kun to...
There's that. Yes. Going forward, he needs to stand on his own 2 feet and rebuild his life. It'll take time. And he's at a disadvantage as it is. And to brand him the child of a murderer on top of that, I couldn't.
Mom. Where are we?
Mitsuru.
Hey, Mom.
Mitsuru. Mitsuru.
It's incredible. Finally, he's woken up. Doesn't this change everything? I think you may want to reconsider what you told me, Kusamoto-san. Alone, I'm sure you could have lived with the weight of your choice. But now you have something you'd sacrifice everything to protect. He's so precious, but he's also so fragile he could come crashing down without even a warning. You're going to have to be his shield, Kusumoto-san. We'll do it together. With your cooperation.
I have to do what I can to protect him.
I suppose so, but... You covered up your crimes and it was Sawa-sensei who got caught in the crossfire. On top of that, Akaike-kun's throat was slit last night. Kawano will be another body for the pile soon. Hell, maybe I'm in trouble myself.
How was he yesterday?
Well, as soon as RK showed up for him, he knew you'd stabbed him in the back. I can't really say how that made him feel. Until now, he said no, Kawano. That means whatever happens, and as for me, that's all. I hope Mitsuru...
Back already, Yagami-shi. How are you feeling after last night? That shockwave from the blast took you down.
Oh yeah, that was something else.
I bet, tough guy. Kamurocho's finest detective never fails to impress.
Doc, you made it. We've been asking around if anyone's seen Kuwana.
You don't want to know how that went.
No leads, huh?
Pretty much. Doesn't help that RK's crawling all over the place right now. Soon as they spot Kuwana, they're gonna make their move.
Kuwana gave this to me yesterday.
Isn't that Toshiro Ehara? Kawana-san called you out there just to give you this?
Yep. He told me to give it to Ehara.
What the? Oh man, it looks like it's cracked.
Can you take a look at it, Tsukumo? I get the feeling it's no ordinary
Certainly.
pen.
Not handing it over to Ehara till you know what...
He won't mind, will he? Besides, I damn near got blown up over that thing.
Speaking of...
Saori-san's preparing for the appeal. Still no date, but the courts are working. If they accept the case and it goes to trial, they'll find out about Kuwana one way or another.
And that'd put Reiko Kusumoto in public security in the shithouse, right?
Right. If Kuwana and his murders come to light, anyone connected to Reiko Kusumoto could be suspected as an accomplice. And if that happens, she'd lose any control she had over the pension fund.
Interesting.
Everyone wants their own brand of justice to come out on top. But enough is enough. If we don't handle this, public security will take out Kuwana. And I can't let him die like that.
Then what's your next move?
Gonna head to Ahara's trial and back up Saori-san. Feels like we've come full circle.
I'd argue the opposite, Yagami-shi. The circumstances surrounding the trial are completely different this time around. I can't help but consider how grand a task simply seeking the truth could be.
Seriously. But exposing the truth is the only way to save some and get justice for others. We can't just stay quiet and watch.
Sounds like you're seeing the light. Detective work's not so bad, is it?
Can you guys keep an eye out for Kawana and Ijincho? I need to go over Hara's case with Sari-san.
10-4. We'll amp up surveillance.
We're going too, Sukiura. Time to get shit done.
Right on!
Wow, look, sure, she said.
Yeah,
Okay.
if we want to, then we need. But since
Basic.
So you're.
I'd prefer.
So, if you talk...
I'll see what I.
Sounds good.
Sure,
Okay.
but
What do... I am just here to get...
I still have. I'll call you.
sure thing.
I'm going to try and get in touch with Ihara's wife. Even though they're separated, Ihara may have shared details about Mikoshiba's murder with her. Oh, and Higashi-san will be there to help.
Sorry for keeping you young.
Comradeship. But there's no.
Excellent. In
Yeah,
the end,
yeah. Which reminds me, you stand as icing.
exactly. Personally,
I bet you. So when maybe you've got. Because
I told.
Handy. So you.
what is it?
Even if
The murder weapon. Kanagawa PD said the weapon used.
Yet it appears in the footage without a knife. If it wasn't found at the murder scene, it's highly likely this.
Any normal. You got revenge for your son.
your point.
If you were, you'd need something convincing. Busting out the weapon no one's found yet would do the trick. That one piece of it.
Well, look at you go. Then tell me, where do you surmise I've hidden this weapon?
Well, right after killing Mikoshiba and Ijincho, you would have had to book it to Ikebukuro Station. You had accomplices with you.
And if that's the case, there would have been plenty of time to hide the weapon.
Yeah, so that's about as far as I've thought this out.
If that's it, then I'm done here.
Kawana's vanished, Nahara-san. Public security found out about her.
Public security?
Kawana wanted me to tell you he won't make it to the end of your revenge plan.
So, I'm the last man standing, am I? Well, he's already... I never expected to see him again anyway.
At this point, he won't be able to outrun them. If public security catches him, he'll get much worse than an unfair trial. Burying him will be the least they do.
What do you mean? What's going on?
You remember last time? If you don't recall, I said you'd grab the tiger by the tail.
And your tiger is... public security?
Right. And they're out there on the warpath. Everything has to be brought into the light. We need what you did to be exposed. Kawana can't be saved in any other way. I need your help, Ahar-san.
Then you lose. I'll never admit to killing Hiro Mikoshiba in court. The system can die. It threw Toshiro away, and I won't lift a finger to save it. Kawana-san knew how this could end. We have our convictions. When this started, we knew it could end up costing our lives.
You knew going in, huh? And that's all? Is that what you tell yourself so you can sleep at night?
Maybe it is.
Yagami-san. Do you remember my original request to look into both the Hara incidents? I asked you to look into the train event, and then I asked you to look into Hiro Mikoshiba's murder. And now, I'm afraid I have to make one more request of you. Do you still carry your defense attorney's lapel pin? At Hara-san's trial, I'd like you to take the floor with me to defend him. It's going to be eventful. I think we should go as a team.
Sure about that? You know, my legal counsel isn't cheap.
I'll let Genda-sensei know about the invoice.
You got it. Count me in. You never know when something like this will happen. Check it out. I always have it on me.
I know that.
Huh? You do?
Hello?
Doc, where you at?
Just
right
got
now?
back to Yokohama.
Over at the lead. Make your way over.
Look
Yeah.
at you. Really, guys? Looks like the gang's on that.
Well,
Nice. So you're really...
Just to give sorries.
does that mean I don't need to...
Huh? How?
Yagami's there, I don't see...
I have been plenty
To the Lord.
Man.
Well, that's all I got. So where's Kuwana? Any...
Yeah, about...
Arcade's up.
On the flip side, that means
Well, yes.
You think
alive? Yeah. When I saw him, he was already the real problem. Now that he knows Reiko Kusumoto.
I'd never let that. Maybe Kuwana's thinking the same thing. Maybe he's really gonna stick it to Reiko Kusumoto.
Yeah, I could definitely... Oshinoku, Higashi, you two met with Ahara's wife?
Yeah, but we didn't gain...
Turns out Ahara and his old lady don't really... After her son took his life 4 years back, she refused to keep living under the same roof. Only reason she hasn't divorced him is because it's too much of a pain to process.
She's been living in that same apartment even when Toshiro-kun was still alive. She let us light some incense on his altar.
Did Ahara's battery charge come up at all?
She said she didn't care.
She didn't care her husband was...
According to her, no.
Really? That's hard to believe.
Well, there's no easy way to put it, but it felt like she'd given up on everything.
Made for a pretty depressing trip, I'll tell you that.
So where's Kuwana? Any word on where he's hiding?
Yeah, about that. We must have asked everyone in EG.
Arcade's out there looking for...
On the flip side, that means they...
Well, yes. Although...
You think Kuwana-san's still in one piece after the explosion?
Alive? Yes. Unharmed? I can't say. When I saw him, he was already... The real problem, now that he knows...
I'd never let that. Maybe Kuwana... Maybe...
Yeah. What's the word on Arc?
Everywhere you look, they stare us down.
Plus, they're...
Harassing.
You know, then another...
That's a...
Hold
And Soma?
Nah, and Soma isn't a...
Especially if he has...
That about wrap it up?
Seems so. As for me, I think I'll head out and see what I can find out about Kuwana-san.
Same. I just hope he's okay.
Tsukumo-san and...
Yeah.
Black belt.
Well, I'm just... Anyway.
What about you, Chuck? Want to call it a night?
Now skin up.
So,
If I can really...
Hey, Really? He's upstairs. Tsukumo-kun.
Something up?
Yes. It's about the... Turns out, it was just...
Decoy?
For what was inside. This. The cracks in the pendant were hiding an SD card. And on it was some video data.
Video data? Of what exactly?
It's the footage of Ihara murdering Hiro Mikoshiba. Just like we saw before. No additional scenes.
That doesn't make sense. Why would Kawana put his life on the line just to give me that? I mean, RK came after him and everything. And all for a video that's already all over the internet?
Yes, except the video on that card is the original. All the others were copies of this source. In layman's terms, this is the master tape. Or in film, it'd be the negative, with no...
What do you mean?
So this SD card, you can't usually buy it, and if you were to take a picture, it's what for which me...
That means...
Yeah, at the very... The video on here is the sole original. That's why he'd only leave it in the hands of someone he...
Kawana asked me to give this to Ihara.
Sure, but he had to know we'd turn it inside out first. Maybe it's Kawana after all, and which I think...
And it's Ihara, Kawana, that's the first...
And I believe...
So hey...
Hey,
Matsu?
I was talking...
Everything okay?
Well, Akane started hanging out with some shady guys. So I figured I should talk to Yagami-san about this.
Sounds like a tricky situation.
Akane's that girl you hung out with. So, wanna tell me more?
They're these thugs from Tokyo. RK, they're called.
Okay. What else?
They got her so comfortable, she blurted out some stuff. Stuff about you, Yagami-san.
Well, that's nothing I can't handle. But rolling with RK...
I knew it. So they actually are dangerous then.
What's really going on?
They asked
What?
So she
did what?
Yeah, even Akane knew she messed... Yagami-san, you've been mixed up with RK, right?
Can you try to get in touch with her?
Actually, I haven't been able to.
What about Akane?
Oh, right. Let me try and call.
Hello, Matsun?
Akane, where are you right now?
The last place Mikoshiba-sensei was.
Huh?
I'm with RK. We're at the building where Mikoshiba-sensei's body...
Why?
Matsun, are you with Yagami?
It's Yagami.
She is. Yagami-san! It's me, Koda!
It's Yagami.
Who is this?
Not important.
Hey!
Don't!
Come down and...
Do you guys even understand?
Better hurt.
What's happening?
Matsu, you stay here. Tsukumo!
I'll contact Kai...
Perfect. I'm counting on you.
Let's go, Yagami-san. Hurry up, or I'm leaving without you. Yeah, let's go.
What's up?
Yagami-shi, this is Tsukumo. My drones just arrived at the scene. Koda-san and Akane-san are with some men. About 20 of them.
Where's Kaito-san and Higashi?
I've contacted them. They're on their way now.
Good.
Hey! He's here! It's Yagami!
Talk. This where those RK guys are holed up? He's Soma with them?
Nobody's had eyes on him yet. Just a sec. Tsukumo?
I've confirmed the enemy position, Yagami-shi. They have our 2 young hostages surrounded, so a head-on assault would be too dangerous. Naturally, I've already come up with some countermeasures we can run. Would you care to hear my plan?
You always come through, man. Okay then. Walk us through it.
Wow. Look who decided to show up. Too scared to come with all your little bodyguard buddies?
Not like you've got room to talk. How many shitheads does it take to watch these girls?
I never thought it would end up like this. You believe me, don't you?
Yeah. But we'll have to save the lecture for after all this is over. You'll be free soon. That goes for you too, Koda-san.
You so sure about that?
You kidnapped them to get to me? Well, here I am, so let's go.
We did lure you here, so we can beat your sorry ass to death.
Okay, then. So what was your plan? Throw all these guys at us as soon as we kick down the door?
We're smarter than that, you know.
Yeah. We knew you'd have some backup!
Here comes! Let's take out the trash! Yagami! Hands where I can see them! And same for you two!
Hey, calm down. I've got one more thing. I'm not a big fan of guns.
Huh?
Shit! Up there!
Face the wrath of Ishitsu Yokohama 99! The wicked shall be smited and retribution shall be swift!
Come on. Did you really think one gun was enough to take out a crew like us? If you did, you were wrong.
You two sit tight a little longer. But just to warn you, I'm gonna go harder on these guys. If you want to see some asses kicked, don't blink, okay?
Let's get going. I want him down before the smoke clears.
Yeah. Come on!
Away from the window!
We are ready to go! I saw shit! Here we go!
Thanks. You saved us. I'm so sorry.
No. I'm the one who got you into this. It's not your fault, it's RK's. But I'm next in line after them. Besides, I'm not the one you should be apologizing to.
Coda, I'm really sorry. It's alright. Well, I'm gonna head home.
Soma?
What? Who?
Kane, get back!
Huh?
Here all by yourself? What are you trying to pull?
Oh, I'm just here to talk. To be honest, Kuwano's put us in kind of a tight spot.
How so?
Well, he's got Kawaya's body, Reiko Kusamoto's victim, hidden in a freezer, of all places. Been on ice for what, 5 years? You know about this, Yagami?
Yeah.
Problem is, he's planning to reveal its location on the internet. If that happens, Kusamoto-san will be ruined. No doubt her fingerprints and other traces are all over the damn corpse.
Yeah, but that's for the better. Means she won't have to listen to you.
Reiko Kusamoto is a capable woman who can swim with the tides. She's irreplaceable. It would be unfortunate to lose her over some lowlife she had to put down. She's on our side now, and she's accepted it.
So it's your duty to protect people like that?
I protect order, not people. Consider me a necessary evil.
Necessary evil?
That's right. If I hadn't gone undercover, the Tojo clan's ex-Yakuza would be spread all over by now. If that happened, we never would have been able to track their current activity. That's why I created the RK network. To keep Kamurocho's underground under control. Much safer and less messy than wiping them out indiscriminately. But in the shadow of order, there's always a pair of dirty hands.
Right. Kuwana said something like that too.
But if there's one difference between the two of us, it's that I find my work enjoyable. It gives me purpose. When I dirty my hands, it's in the service of order. It goes back to a necessary evil to maintain peace in this country. In my eyes, peace does require violence. It only works when killers are below the surface, keeping it afloat.
Sawa-sensei too? Is that the peace you want?
Yoko Sawa? She did have to die. She almost connected the Mikoshiba case to Kuwana. She was getting very close to it. She may even have figured out Reiko Kusamoto was involved. The fewer people who know a secret, the better kept the secret stays. I don't remember even hesitating on that call. And I think that means... Well, you guys won't like hearing this, but it was justified.
You asshole!
Whoa, whoa. Don't fly off the handle now. I haven't finished what I had to say.
What the fuck?
Did I mention how much of a pain in the ass Kuwana made this? He negotiated for your lives, using Kauai's body as leverage over us.
What?
So relax, would you? I don't plan on killing you here.
Then why even show your sorry face?
The trial for Ehara-san is coming up, right? You know, the groping thing. I've come here with a request that I hope you'll consider.
This from you?
Reiko Kusamoto's name is not to come up during the Ehara trial. That shouldn't be so hard, right? Shirosaki-sensei would have to agree to this too.
And if we were to refuse?
Nothing. It's Kusamoto-san's request. She's asking nice.
What?
A mother doesn't want her child branded a murderer's son. Could you give her that much? And that's all. I'm sure we'll talk soon.
You think so, huh? Why put off what we can settle now? Soma! Akane!
Akane-chan! Why am I...
A paint gun? You okay?
That son of a...
Well, hell, that's gotta hurt. But a bruise sure beats the alternative, right?
Yeah. Okay.
I'd say he got us good with that one.
Yeah. But that was a terrible call. If Soma hadn't been packing a paint gun, that would have been really bad. You two are more important than him. I should have prioritized protecting you.
Yagami-san.
You've been brave. I'm sure this was really scary for you. We'll need to do things one step at a time, Kaito-san. We can't tackle it all at once. First thing, Ehara's groping appeal needs to become a murder trial that outs Kuwana and his students. That way, if public security is our real enemy here, we'll have the prosecution and the courts on our side. That'll be on me. I'll reveal a truth no one can deny.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much your specialty. Send that asshole to jail, for good.
You've got this, Yagami-san.
Whoa. This is crazy. Why is he so hot? Am I right?
Huh. Just a minute ago, she got shot. And now look at her.
Teenagers. Hello? Yeah, I'm getting ready now, Sari-san. Oversleep? I would never... Okay. Yep. Alright, see you at the courthouse. Held on violation of Shinjuku Station's anti-nuisance ordinance, the defendant of this appeal is active duty officer Akihiro Ehara. He was previously convicted and sentenced to 6 months. However,
The defense wholly rejects the sexual battery charge and asserts his innocence.
The prosecution points to two pieces of evidence to prove the defendant guilty. One is the security camera footage from Ikebukuro to Shinjuku Station. The other is fiber traces from the victim's undergarments. The defense maintains we have prepared counter.
How does the prosecution?
We maintain the original sentence was perfectly apt.
Then first, let's examine the security footage from Ikebukuro and Shinjuku Station submitted at the first trial. This is footage at the end of this person at 9:06 a.m. He locates the victim of this case, then he boards the train and pursues her. This footage of the station platform is from when the suspect and victim board the train car.
We already saw this during the first trial. Let's not be redundant.
Of course not. The victim claimed the defendant moved in a suspicious manner once the train left Ikebukuro Station, ultimately placing his hand under her skirt. After they arrived at Shinjuku Station, however, there's a possibility the offender seen here is not the defendant himself. The goal was to disguise this. In other words, this instance of the original verdict.
This is me.
Yes, there isn't. However,
Would you care?
The assailant fled the train and was caught shortly after on the Shinjuku Station platform. Many nearby passengers filmed the scene, which then circulated throughout Japan. The impact may have been greater, since there's no mistake that upon arrival, station. With that said, there's a very real possibility that we have. If you'll kindly look at this.
What is this?
That's correct. First, the victim and the offender ran onto the platform as soon as the train doors opened. The train. We've marked the lighter. More people. However, that's.
I see. So you claim.
Yes. Defendant, when you were issued the verdict in your first trial, you said the following to the judge. In a warehouse about 3 days ago, a body turned up in Yokohama. But that wasn't enough, despite the fact. How did you manage to pull off such a feat?
It came to me in a dream.
Mikoshiba-san was your son, Toshiro.
That's right.
Toshiro Ihara was found dead. Afterward?
Yes.
Ihara-san.
There were rumors my son had been... Unfortunately...
And these rumors were discovered.
They were.
Of the bullies mentioned. Were you aware?
I was.
Would you say you harbor...
Objection. Also, the Kanagawa police are... The courtroom is no...
How does the...
The timing of the bat, we believe there's a very relevant connection.
Very well. The prosecution's objection is overruled.
Please keep it brief.
Just as soon as the defendant answers the question. Did you harbor murderous intent for Hiro Mikoshiba?
Of course I did.
In other words, Your Honor, it goes like this. On the day Toshiro-kun's bully, Mikoshiba-san, was killed, the defendant set out to synchronize the murder with... It became his alibi for the murder, a 6-month sentence. That's all the motivation that his stand-in groped his accomplice.
Then the defense...
Wrong. If we go... And it's on the prosecution to refute that.
Fine. The defense's argument about the security camera's blind spot is while the defendant was running, his female victim was chasing after him. Surely the victim... Yet the victim provided no such testimony.
The victim, Yui Mamiya, was an accomplice in the scheme.
Objection! This is an insult to the victim. Such claims harm the integrity of all women.
We have good reason to doubt the victim's credibility. She was all part of his plan. In fact, that's all but sure.
A 50-something man separated from his wife was driven by loneliness to harassment. That seems much more likely.
The way you phrase that is the...
Beg pardon?
That would...
Now you're just nitpicking.
Defense, if you claim to doubt...
Yes, we do. In actuality, she wasn't the only conspirator who helped stage the groping. The bystander who captured the defendant, the witness who recorded the incident on his smartphone. Both men, which means, strange as it sounds, it's clear that this was a carefully organized and planned event.
Our investigation. Additionally, 4 years ago, we believe this is...
Of course, that's as deep as we need to go on that. We've simply presented the possibility, and as long...
Your Honor, I haven't committed murder. Everything else...
Defendant, why did you agree to this?
You can ask my lawyers that.
How does the...
It's just to refresh his
Now
memory.
what?
But please, don't display this on the large monitor. We shouldn't shock the public. It's footage of a murder.
Excuse me, wasn't that denied as evidence?
As I said, this is solely to refresh your memory. It's up to the judge whether or not we show it.
Please proceed.
That's just internet footage with no known...
No. This footage, this is a write once. Anything recorded on it is highly reliable data. After serving your... But Kawana can't wait for...
Don't kill me. Please. I swear I'll try to make it up. Stop it.
Defendant, in that footage, is the person in the white raincoat you?
You could say it...
The person you killed, according to the autopsy. Therefore, it can only be that the person who passed through the ticket gate shortly after at 7:43 a.m. As the... we can...
How does the...
Even if the footage has an irrefutable source, that alone does not prove guilt of murder. I'd just like to state that in advance.
So the prosecution is denying the murder? Remind me who exactly is defending me here.
Good question.
The defense repeatedly mentions a stand-in, but where is this person currently? Who even... The person on...
We believe, if you look... We learned this from...
Then we should call them...
No need.
I don't know it.
He said he doesn't... The murder footage...
Your Honor.
Deny. Both the defend... It would be unprecedented.
By that logic, there's no...
I will it, but not... I must once...
But...
Defend...
Your Honor.
Understood.
What's next?
Harasan...
Nope.
On October... He was...
Your Honor! No evidence has been... The name...
Kawana...
Defend. We've not eaten...
But without... Am I getting through? No. You definitely do. Kawana... Take a listen to this.
What is it?
It wasn't just some random internet post that made you decide to kill Mikoshiba-san, was it? Even while battling the school in court, you still didn't know for sure who pushed Toshiro-kun to his death. That's when Kawana came to you with this recording, right?
Hmm? That's... Why do you...
Toshiro-kun came running to the roof. His face was pretty swollen. And a few minutes later, a student named Mikoshiba came up looking for him. I'll never forget the fear I...
That's the voice of Yoko-sama.
He told me about everything. How no one can believe it. They said...
After he... And ultimately, isn't that right?
Afraid not.
I see.
Then, is that all? Can the defense please get back on track?
This recording only came into my hands by means of Kawana. Except... Thinking about it now, much like the murder footage, that would qualify as an unreliable source, wouldn't it?
What?
We live in an age where audio and video footage can be fabricated and easily reproduced.
What are you getting at?
Sawa-sensei, the one speaking in the recording, was murdered only days ago. And the one who recorded it, Kawana, disappeared without a trace. Meaning that as far as this recording is concerned, no one is left who can prove that it's authentic to the court.
Or is my understanding incorrect? You would say you're completely unaware of the details about your son in this recording. Kawana had it. Didn't he play it for you?
I never heard it. Regardless of the content, it has nothing to do with me.
So you say. In that case, let's just assume then that Kawana and I are the only ones in possession of this audio recording. And considering that Kawana has all but vanished without a trace, that would actually make this the only copy, and me the sole owner. No backup exists.
What are you getting at?
This has no value in this courtroom, then I'm afraid it's never gonna have a value beyond today. And being that you claim it's unrelated to you or this case, then it wouldn't bother you if I were to delete it from my phone right here and now.
Why would... That's crazy. I wouldn't!
Okay. Then tell me why I shouldn't do it.
Because Mikoshiba was a man who should never have escaped being judged. That's the proof of my son's pain. The proof that everyone ignored. That recording is all I have left of him! I took the school to court because Toshiro deserved justice. But all they could say is that the cause of his suicide couldn't be determined. In the end, not a single person was held responsible. No proof, no justice. My son was hung out to dry.
Yes. That's all true.
All of you. You're all so incompetent. You see yourselves as these paragons of law and justice, yet the truth slips right through your fingers. And then, my alibi made you a mockery. I made it so real. You passed me off as just another pervert. You were gullible. Every single one of you. Toshiro threw his life away and justice was blind to his pain. Mikoshiba walked free because of you. You condone murder and call yourselves the law. That's why I did it. I took Mikoshiba's life with my own hands.
This is coming in hot. Remember that pervert cop? Turns out he's actually a murderer.
To recap, you killed Hiro Mikoshiba in Ijincho, then headed to Shinjuku Station where you and Kawana pulled off a switch, and there you were ultimately arrested as a groper.
Yeah. That's right.
Defendant, you bear animosity for the whole system. We can't just take your words at face value. If you're responsible for Mikoshiba-san's murder, can you bring forward any evidence, or just the murder footage?
To tell you the truth, I have something that I was holding on to for the impact that it would have. It's very real evidence that the law has failed us.
What have you been hiding then? Will it prove you killed Mikoshiba?
Yes.
Then what is it?
If you go to my wife's apartment, you'll find my son's altar there. In it, you'll find the weapon I used for the crime, the knife I murdered him with. It still has Mikoshiba's blood on it.
Wait a minute, Genda-sensei. I prayed at that altar.
Well, I guess you can lead a horse to water.
Very well then. We'll open an investigation.
Defense. Will there be anything further?
No matter how justified, vengeance is not something we can ever take into our own hands. That said, in the case of Ahara-san, our system failed him. We know the law strives to be just, but it failed to prove Toshiro-kun was bullied. That's not justice. Not when no one is held responsible. The law, as well as those who enforce it, are far from perfect. So to the court, I say let this case be a lesson. The law is failing to save people who need saving.
It's clear proceedings should be adjourned. At a later time when Mikoshiba-san's murder weapon is recovered, we can resume the trial. I'm willing to do that via a special exception. Defense, prosecution, is that clear?
No objections.
The defense rests, Your Honor.
Well, Kanagawa PD called from the Ehara residence. They've recovered the knife. I'm ashamed to admit that I was so blind to his scheme.
Well then, that makes two of us.
Seems I underestimated you. And the worst part of all, I was arrogant. Legal authority and organizational connections should never be held above the pursuit of truth. I'm glad you were able to make me see that again. Thank you.
Nah.
You've come a long way.
Genda-sensei.
Prosecutor Takano's been stubborn as hell from the day he passed the bar. Once he's made up his mind, nothing can stand in his way, not even his own boss. And he only bows once in a blue moon, so I hope you remember this.
Typical Genda law. I'm never going to like you.
You two really pulled it off. Great job.
Yagami-san.
It's Kusumoto, the Vice Minister.
Bondo.
He's from public security?
Right.
You handled that with such grace, Yagami-sensei. It's no wonder Kuwana holds you in such high regard.
What brings you here?
Yagami-sensei, would you mind if we talked alone?
Why, though? Something we can't hear?
The more you know, the more you risk. You'd be endangering your own lives. If you're willing to accept that, feel free to stay.
We'll clear the room. At this point, we'd just be getting in Yagami-san's way.
It was nearly a month ago that Kusumoto-san received a letter from Kuwana, though we were unable to use it to trace him.
What did it say?
Soma told you, didn't he? Kuwana hid Shinya Kawai's body, seeing as Kusumoto-san's fingerprints and other traces were still on it. If that surfaces, the Ministry of Health will have yet another massive scandal on its hands. As such, we'd like to recover and dispose of the body as quickly as possible. Perhaps we'll need to melt it down.
The body was originally preserved to maintain control over Mitsuru's bullies. I never imagined it would be used against me someday.
Fine, but why are you telling me this?
Because of the letter he sent. Once Ehara-san's trial is over, he wanted to talk to you. Using my phone.
Huh? Is that Kuwana?
Kusumoto-san, is Yagami there? Put me on speaker, please.
Go ahead.
So, it seems Ehara-san's trial was a big success. He took...
I don't know what you're thinking, but public security...
Nope, and that's just the way I wanted. Can't run forever.
What the hell are you saying? They catch you, you're a dead man.
That's exactly why I'm negotiating to prevent that. Kusumoto-san.
Yes.
I'll be upfront with you. I never imagined the day would come that you would be the one to betray me. But if I had to guess, Mitsuru-kun must have woke up. If that's the case, then Kawai's murder, your whole past, you're not the only one it stands to ruin. If all that comes into the light, Mitsuru-kun will be labeled the son of a murderer.
Exactly. I can't let that... That's the one thing I need to prevent.
I know. That's good. That's exactly what you should be doing. So please, don't stop now on my behalf. Enough is enough. You and your son have been through enough hell. I want to protect Mitsuru-kun too. Almost as much as his mother.
Where is Kawai's body? Tell me.
I can only assume this call is being traced, so even as we speak, I'm standing somewhere very close to it.
You gave us the location. I'm going to dispatch Soma. Kawana! Where are you?
I'm in Injincho. If I take even one step out of this city, I'd be powerless. I've got nowhere else left to go.
Kawana! After they find Kawai's body and Kawana is taken care of, I'm next on the list. Bando can act at his own discretion. If he wants me gone, he'll be able to silence anyone who could know too much. Sawa-sensei was just the first victim. You yourself have sealed this fate, you know. Will you tell him? Will you tell Mitsuru-kun about Sawa-sensei?
Surely you know it wasn't my fault. Sawa-san's death was a tragedy. I never imagined that would happen.
What about Kawana? Can you imagine how his death is gonna play out in a few hours? I can, but I'm not gonna let him go down without a fight. Which means, I'm going to Ijincho.
I can talk some sense into Bando. I won't allow him to kill indiscriminately. So please, don't go out there to risk your life.
That's how it works. No promises. Tsukumo, Kawana's still out in Ijincho. Soma and RK are heading there too. We need to get to him fast.
Wait, are you sure about that?
You should be able to pick up some chatter. Pinpoint the location. I'm on my way. I'll talk to you soon. Tsukumo?
I see you've arrived in Ijincho safe and sound.
What's happening?
Oh yes. It was likely Kawana-san who put... I just sent it over.
Hang on. Is this Shinya Kawai? That's his body?
I data mined. It's a warehouse.
You mean Siren's owner? Send me the...
Actually, if you want to...